I think I first came to the Theater Guild in 1982. I did a production of Pinocchio by Roy Bentley. I was 10. It's crazy to think that this building was home for so long. And it's like, oh, hi home. It's nice to see you again. It's nice to hear these same steps. They make the same noises. I'd seen a production at Seattle Children's Theater. I don't even remember the name of the show, but it starred some guy, some kid playing a teenager, he's probably in his 20s, and Bill Russell, the ex-Boston Celtic. And I thought, this is great. What is this? What is this thing? And I think I probably just kept pestering my mom. I was like, more of this sort of stuff. And of course, can't bring me to Seattle every day. So she found out about the Guild, and I think that's why I got here. Ah, look at all these faces. I remember all these folks. Good gravy. Good gravy. There's Lynn. There's Doug. Yeah. Oh, man. Talk about a trip in the Wayback Machine. And I don't know his name. But they have both been here since I can remember. Hello, gentlemen. Oh, there I am. Look at me. Look at, oh my God. I have dark hair. After the Bentley show, after Pinocchio, I caught on with the Bellingham Junior Theater Guild. It was run by Sue and Jim Gillette. And we wrote some of our own shows that were really good. I'll tell you, they were really spectacular. And we did shows, and that laid the foundations for me as far, I think, as this is what it means to do shows professionally. You can be a professional when you're 10, 11, 12 years old if you take it seriously and respect the other people you're working with. And that laid the foundation for, like, this makes sense to me. This is how you do the work. This is how you treat other people. And then just carried on when I started getting cast in main stage Guild shows. And I remember heartbreaks of not getting cast in plays. Brighton Beach Memoirs, later in that season, I auditioned for, didn't get cast, and I was heartbroken, because I think it was probably the first show that I auditioned for I didn't get cast in.
Harriet Nepozinski was directing.
Yeah, and little did I know that that's the real life of an actor, is 90% of the time you don't get cast in the part. So.
Preparation.
Yeah, exactly. Learning lessons early. Disappointment. And the dressing room, yes, it's the same dressing room. Don't hang your clothes on the water pipe. I took high school off from theater in general, and then discovered it again after high school. And I'm like, oh, right, the theater, this was a lot of fun. There are fun people here. We can have a good time and entertain folk. That sounds great. I was like, this is nice. This is it's a family here. Theater graffiti is its own little Egyptian hieroglyphic. All the stories. I remember there being a lot more graffiti on the walls. Arsenic and Old Lace. This is a funny one. Because I've always liked the movie Arsenic and Old Lace. It's always been one of my favorites. Realized I was too young to be in it. There's no role for me. But I was still hanging around the Guild, and I still wanted to be a part of things. So I remember opening night, there was a big to-do down in the green room, and they wanted someone to be a dead body. And so I laid down on a little chest out by one of those posts out there in the green room, and they put me in a little suit. And I crossed my hands over my chest, and they stuck a hat down over my face. And I just laid there for the entire intermission, 15 minutes or whatever it was. And there must have been 15, 20 old ladies that came up and lifted up that hand, peeked into theirs like, oh, it's really a person under there. I thought it was a doll or a dummy. I was like, yes, we suffer for our art because we love the theater so much, we'll do just about anything for it. Yeah. Oh, in fact, yes, there is the picture of me right there, laying on the thing with a for rent sign on me. I'd forgotten that part. Oh, it's all gone. This was my spot right here. So underneath this, when archaeologists come and they excavate the guild in 1,000 years, they'll find my artwork there. Because this is where I would stand waiting, because you could draw and you could still hear what's going on out there. Like, oh, okay, I gotta go on stage now. Yeah. This is much tidier than I remember it being during most of my time at the Guild. But everything's still in the same place. Man. This picture, I helped put up the drywall in the office with Dick McClure. And it was the first time I'd been given autonomous, go put up drywall with Dick. Like, okay, that sounds like fun. How do you do that? Well, Dick showed me how to do it, and so we did. A friend of mine from Western, we just sat down one day and decided, you want to go to Seattle? Let's just see what Seattle has to offer. Okay. A month later, we were all moved in to our place in Seattle, auditioning and having really crummy jobs. But we both immediately started getting work, started getting gigs. And it didn't take long to find a new family, a new acting family in Seattle. Small town kids coming to the big city together to make our way in the theater world. It's kind of great. I'm gonna look and see if I can find the seat that's got my name on it. It's up here somewhere. Oh, where am I? There I am. Boop.
Front row seats.
Front row seat. Thanks for the fun, Joe Osier. I don't think I paid for it all myself. I think I split the cost with my folks. I was off stage right, and I was getting ready to come on, and in the scene, I had just run off, and I was gonna have relations with my wife, and the phone rings, and I'm supposed to run back on with my pants around my ankles and my funny boxers, whatever, like smiley faces or something. So I get up there, and I'm ready to take my pants off, and that's when I realized that I'm not wearing any underwear. And so, from offstage right, down back here, in the space of about 15 seconds, I don't miss the entrance, and I put the boxers on the way back upstairs. That was, yeah. Oh man, see, yeah, no. Kids today got it easy.
That is no joke.
This is great. No, seriously, this is great.
So like John Esting, you remember John Esting?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he donated a computer down there and donated an extra monitor. So now here's our little light board, right? This is it, right? This little business right here. We still have the old one just to show us that we still have the old one.
It's important to know your roots, right?
Yeah.
To appreciate what you have. Yeah, this is great. Well, this is really nice. I remember dying here in the complete works of William Shakespeare abridged. I remember playing the violin on a platform here during Christmas Carol. Man. I remember coming out of a doorway here during Noises Off, dressed in Paul Black's outfit, which is way too big for me. And that's when I first discovered really that as an actor you can hold an audience right here, and when you get them there, you can keep them there for a while. And all it takes is just a little, because I just came out in this outfit that's too big with my shirt tail coming out of my fly and a little piece of paper, and I trembled and looked scared, and they laughed. And then I'd look around and tremble a different way, and they'd laugh more, and I could hold that laughter for a long time. Yeah, it's an important lesson. But don't go too far, because then you're mugging. Yeah, and we worked our butts off on that show, too. We really did. And it's great. It's that sort of exhaustion that you get when you're like, this is going to be great. Let's be here all the time working on it. That we're so exhausted, but it was such a great feeling. I can't remember who it was, but they brought in a letter that they'd gotten from a patron. And it said, I've hired a cleaning crew to come in before your next show. And they'll be there to clean one of the seats because I laughed so hard that I peed. I peed right in the seat. And I think all of us as actors and people involved in that show took that as a laurel. Yes, indeed, that's a shining moment. My time here at the Guild was special for me. It was my experience of it, and that's gone. Those memories are just all up here now and in the people I shared them with. So I can't go home again. But the more things change, the more they stay the same, there are people creating those own memories for themselves now. So it's still happening. It's still perpetuating itself, which is great. I think the things that I learned really early on, even at a young age, like 10 years old, starting at the Guild, are with me every time I start a new production in Seattle. It's get to know everyone who's working on your show. And it doesn't just mean the actors, it means who's building your sets, who's designing your lights, who's hanging your lights, who's doing your props, everybody. Because you don't go out there alone on stage. You're only on stage looking good if a ton of people have put in work behind you. And when you appreciate everyone, appreciate the hard work that they put in, it helps bond you as a group. And you can create really amazing theater. And right about here, I think, that's where the infamous Ellard sauerkraut thing happened. Right through the floor. In The Foreigner, there's a scene where Ellard is sent down into the basement to get the sauerkraut, and he's supposed to pull out a handful of sauerkraut and show it up through the trapdoor in the floor. And then Betty gets it's like, no, get it in a jar. Don't grab it with your hand. So I'd never been under the stage at the Guild. It wasn't the most comfortable place to be. And we had the trap door underneath and just a regular sliding bolt on it, right? And so I get there and I'm getting ready to slide the bolt out and it won't move, it won't budge. I'm like, oh no, this is gonna be interesting. And so I'm pulling on it, and finally I get it to go, but as it goes, I slice my hand open. Pretty good. And so I got this, I'm bleeding here. And the only way that I can hold the sauerkraut up is if I grab onto the thing with this hand, grab the sauerkraut with the bleeding hand, and hold it up through the thing. So with this bleeding hand, I grab this handful of real sauerkraut. That's a pain that won't soon be forgotten in my life. And this is so much prettier than it was. Yeah, the old building is a lot more inviting now. It doesn't look so much like you'll be murdered if you go to it. I do have abiding memories of that door that we just came out of, because that was where you go audition for a show, and then usually go over to Cascade Pizza and hang out in the bar and wait for 2 or 3 hours until the director posts the list of who got cast. The cast list's up, come on down. We all rush down and see, and then adjourn to the bar for congratulatory beverages, or, oh, we're sorry you didn't get cast, but I'm glad I did. This is my home. It's not now. I still have the memories from it, but other people are creating their home in it now. And I think that's so important, and that sense of it's a community theater. Well, it belongs to the community, yeah, but it also is a community, and it sustains itself. People are in it for a while. They may leave for a while, come back, like I did. Take some time off, come back. They may leave, never come back. But they're a part of a shared history that we have, that we all have now. We all have this in common, and what took place in it and for the other people, for the people that were involved in it. It's important. It's really important.